Hi guys, I'm making this video today because I had a subscriber actually ask me about Bitcoin and how it works, and so I figured what I should do is just go ahead and explain what actually Bitcoin is, how it works, and how you can actually make money from it, and also how you can use this to basically help your financial future. In other words. Um, No, I will say too offhand, I'm not a financial expert. I'm just going to give you a rundown as far as what I know and what I have learned, and then in other words, you still need to do your research, and you guys need to do your own due diligence as far as what you want to do and what you want to invest in. So with that being said, let me go ahead and first talk about what Bitcoin is now and um, why it is that I'm into it and why it is that you guys might want to definitely think about getting into it. First of all, what Bitcoin is, it's a online digital currency. It's all online. There's no physical money whatsoever when it comes to Bitcoin. It's actually 100% all digital money, and or digital currency, or some people even call it a commodity for that matter. Um, but the thing is that with Bitcoin, the way it works is you actually set up a wallet first. In fact, let me go ahead and show you one of the wallets that I actually have that I use myself. Uh, There we go. What you do actually is set yourself up a Bitcoin wallet, and it's easy to do. It's free to do too. You don't have to pay anything for it. You can go to a site like this that I have my wallet on, or you can also download a wallet as well to your desktop on your computer. And if you do download one to your computer, it will take some time to set up because it has to sync with the network though. So keep that in mind. But Bitcoin, the way it works is that anytime a transaction happens with Bitcoin, is that it creates a math equation, and Bitcoin is what's called proof of work. There's some coins that's also called proof of stake, but Bitcoin itself is based on proof of work. So what happens is anytime that there's a transaction done, say I want to send, um, somebody named Joe $10 worth of Bitcoin. Um, it creates a transaction. So what happens is I go into my wallet, my Bitcoin wallet that I have, and I copy their address, which actually happens to be a long string of numbers. It might be like 15 numbers or so, but it's like 50 was like numbers and letters, and it's that's actually what your address would be. Um, you know what? Give me a second here. Let me go ahead and log in so I can show you guys what I'm talking about here. It's a lot easier if I can just go ahead and whoops, sorry. I forgot I'm going to have to do the thing on here too. Give me a second here, guys. Okay, and let me get the code off of here. 1 second, guys. But also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in, and I'm going to show you guys what the long string looks like as far as like the numbers and letters and so forth, so you guys can get an idea. Give me a second here. And you do want to make sure that you are secure on your wallet, because obviously if somebody logs in, they can steal your coins. So there's a thing called two-factor authentication that I would suggest that you do if you do set one up, which is what I'm actually doing right now. I'm actually logging in with my two-factor authentication, so that helps it be secure. It's still not 100% bulletproof because hackers are, of course, very good at what they do, but it does help a lot. So you can see here too, offhand, you can see that I do have multiple coins here. Now that's the thing too is Bitcoin is not the only coin out there in existence. There's actually probably around 1,000 different coins, and to be honest, some of those are pure crap. Some of those are pure garbage and are not worth nothing at all and should not be invested in whatsoever. But there are some of these that are valuable, and some of these that are definitely worth getting into. Let me go ahead and click on my wallet though, so I can show you what you guys would be looking at as far as if you do set up a Bitcoin wallet. Go ahead and do deposit and receive so we can show you what the address looks like. This right here is going to be the Bitcoin wallet address. This is what it will look like. Of course, there's 1KP2CUBN or whatever. So if you want somebody to send you some money, this is what you would do. You would copy this and paste this, or if you're using it like a cell phone, you can use the QR code reader on your cell phone and scan that, and it'll pop up with the address on here. And that's what you would use to send somebody money. Well, this is what you would use if you want somebody to send you some Bitcoin money. But each time that you do a transaction, though, it does create a math equation. And what happens is there's people out there who does what's called mine for those transactions, or mine for Bitcoin. And what they're doing is they're using their computer power to solve those equations. That's what they're doing. And it creates a ledger, in other words, and there's a ledger that actually goes all the way back to the very first transaction that's ever been done with Bitcoin. And what happens is that anytime that you do a new transaction, it gets put on that ledger as well. And it actually allows people who are, use their computer out there to actually mine and solve those math equations. Because what it's doing is, when it goes onto the blockchain, what they call the blockchain is what it goes onto. Each time you create those transactions, it goes into a thing called blockchain. And miners can use computers to also check the blockchain, and it will see that, yes, David sent, Joe Smith, $10 worth of Bitcoins. And you might have another miner that also sees that as well, too, on the blockchain as well. And you got a lot of people trying to compete with their computers to try to find those equations and try to solve them and see for sure that it really did happen. And after so many different equations, or so many different miners, in other words, finding those equations and solving those, then the transaction goes all the way through. And it's actually fast compared to sending money in traditional ways with banks and so forth. In fact, extremely fast. We'll get to that here in a minute. But as a reward for those people that's using their computer power to solve those equations, they get a small bit of Bitcoin as well too. It's like a tax fee, I guess, as far as how you would call it or whatever. So, excuse me. So there's actually people out there who has full warehouse size of equipment that does nothing but solve Bitcoin equations all day long, and that's what they do. They mine for coin. They actually, it's not just Bitcoin. You can actually mine for lots of different coins out there. In fact, over 90%, I would say, of the different coins that's out there, you can actually mine for them. But Bitcoin, of course, is the king because of the fact it's been around for the longest. And as far as transaction time, too, that's what I was going to talk about here, that I mentioned earlier. If you send, traditionally anyways, with a bank, like overseas, you send like, $1,000 worth of Bitcoin to somebody overseas, it might take maybe 2-3 days for that person to actually get that going through the traditional banking system. But with Bitcoin, you can send somebody $1,000 worth of Bitcoin to somebody overseas, and it might take 20 minutes, maybe even an hour for that to go through, which is incredibly fast compared to regular traditional banking systems. So that's another reason why Bitcoin is such a great alternative, because it's so much faster, for one, and for two, the fees are so much lower as well too. Because again, if you send $1,000 through traditional banks, it might cost you, just off the top of my head, $20-30. I don't know. That's just a guess. I might be totally wrong, but it might be somewhere around that ballpark. But with Bitcoin, you could probably send $1,000 worth of Bitcoin to somebody, and it might cost you maybe $2, $2-3, something like that. Again, I could be wrong as far as the exact figures, but it's a lot less. That is for sure. Now, another great thing about Bitcoin is the fact that it's also decentralized. So, in other words, there's no bank in this world whatsoever that owns Bitcoin. You are your own bank when you get into Bitcoin and you set up your wallet. You are your own bank. So, what you have in your bank account is, totally up to you, and how much you send from your bank account is totally up to you. So that's another great thing about that, is because nobody can control your money that way but yourself. You're the only one in the world that can control your money when it comes to the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies or whatever that you're going to hold in your account or on your wallet, whatever. You're the only one that's going to control that. So that's another great reason, and one of the best reasons why Bitcoin is so popular, and one of the reasons why it's such a great thing to get into, because in the past, when it comes to having banks and dealing with bank accounts, they have full control of your money, of course, and they can shut your account down at any time that they want, and they have shut a lot of people's accounts down in the past, just on for whatever reason they wanted to. A lot of times they even give a reason sometimes. But yeah, I mean, this way you're in full control. You don't have to worry about that. So there's no centralized place for Bitcoin. And that's another thing too, is banks also fear Bitcoin big time, and they don't like Bitcoin because of the fact that it does take away from their monetary system that they've been so used to for so many years, in other words, thousands of years. And that's a beautiful thing, because now we have more control over what we want to do with our money, and don't have to worry about being at the whims of banks, like so many people has had to do in so many years throughout history. In other words, now talking about history as well, that's the next point I want to talk about as far as Bitcoin. Bitcoin itself, actually, right now, as of today, anyways, of recording this video, is worth $7,171. Now, that right there is actually incredible, because Bitcoin itself has actually only been around for, I think, like 8 years now. Let me see if I can actually get this to come up here. This site, by the way, is called coinmarketcap.com. So coin, C-O-I-N, marketcap.com is what this site is called. If you guys ever want to take a look at this and start researching into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Let's see if I can get this to come up here or show something. 2013. So yeah, it's okay. So maybe about 6 or 7 years, somewhere around there, that Bitcoin has been around. But yeah, it's well, 2000. Actually, I think it was around 2010, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Somewhere around 2010, 2011, somewhere around there, I think, is when it actually very first started coming out. And the thing about it is it actually was worth only just a few cents when it very first came out. And it's incredible the growth that it actually has had. In fact, this past year alone, it's had something like a few thousand% as far as growth wise. Because in fact, when I myself first got into it, started dealing with Bitcoin and started actually setting up my wallet and trying to do some research and really got into it myself, was around 2016 of October. So it was October of 2016 when I got into it myself. And at that time, it was actually worth around $600 is what one Bitcoin was worth. But now, like I showed you guys, one Bitcoin is worth $7,171. So just think about that, guys. If I would have known about it at the time and would have actually been able to buy one full Bitcoin, which I didn't have the money to do it, but if I did have the money to do it, and if I would have known what was Bitcoin all about for sure at that time, and could have really got into it, I would have went ahead and bought a whole bunch of them if I could have. But let's see, let's go 7171. We'll do it like that, minus 600. So in just over a year, because of course it's November 6th right now is the date, but in just over a year, it went up to well, you would have $6,571 profit. In other words, is what you would have if you would have been able to buy one Bitcoin. Now, if you could have bought several, then yeah, you would have a whole lot more money. But just think about that, guys. $6,571. Let me see a bank that's going to give you that type of returns by having your money in a savings account. And of course, that's not going to happen. There's no way, there's no bank in this world whatsoever that you're going to have that's going to give you that type of returns just by having your money into a savings account. So if you could, have got a hold of one Bitcoin at that time and just held on to it without doing anything at all, then that's what you could do. You could sell it for right now and make that, that type of money with that. And that right there is why it's so powerful. Now, some people say that it could be into a bubble right now, and it could actually pop, and it could, go way back down. Which, yeah, I mean, being at this price, that very well is possible. But, Bitcoin has been in some bubbles before in the past already. In fact, even in this past year, I've seen it go down $1,000, but I wasn't worried, whatsoever about it because of the fact that, it's going to do that. Just like stocks, Bitcoin can also be traded just like stocks can. It can be day traded every single day, and you can buy on the lows and you can sell on the highs if you want to. When it comes to Bitcoin and lots of other currencies as well too, cryptocurrencies is what they call it. And but the thing is, in general, it's going to keep going up though. Throughout the years, and in general, it will keep going up. And I have seen that firsthand. Like I said, especially from this past year alone, it has went up huge. And it's going to keep on going up because the thing is too, there's still a lot of people out there who don't even know what Bitcoin is. So that's another thing to think about, is the fact that the more people who knows about it, then the more it's going to go up. And that's another thing I even forgot to mention too, which is one of the most important things, is the fact the reason why it keeps going up too is because there's actually going to only be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. That's all there's going to ever be in this world once they are all mined. You have to mine for Bitcoin, like I mentioned before on that. But once they are all mined and all done with, all said and done with, there's going to only be a total max supply of 21 million Bitcoins. So that's why it is that eventually some people say that it could even, very well get up to $1 million for one Bitcoin because of the fact that it's a rare type of thing here. Unlike the fiat dollar, the dollar bill keeps on going down in value every single year, but Bitcoin actually keeps on going up in value. And that's why it's such a powerful thing too, because of the fact that, unlike the dollar, you can put that into a savings account, and actually that's a dumb thing to do because with inflation, it's actually going to go down. So if you can buy a pack of gum right now for $1, in a year from now, it's going to probably cost, like $1.25 or more for that pack of gum. So that one same dollar that you got right now is not even going to be able to buy a pack of gum because of the fact of the inflation. It's going to keep going up. And that's something you guys can still research on your own later on down the line when it comes to inflation and so forth. But I've already, been lucky enough to have been watching enough videos to find out how all that works. But yeah, the rate that you get on returns with a savings account, I think on average right now is something like 0.0065% or something like that. In other words, not even 1%. But if inflation keeps going up 3% every single year, then you're definitely losing money. Even if you had 1% return on your savings account, as far as when you got your savings, you're going to actually lose money, guaranteed, because of inflation going up 3% on average per year, and a bank's not even giving you 1%. So, that's definitely something to think about. But for me, my alternative, like I said on this, is to go ahead and put money into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, the thing is with Bitcoin itself, because of the fact that it has been out for such a long period of time, it's actually hard to mine for right now. So then you're asking, well, what can you do then? How can you make money with Bitcoin? Well, the thing is, there's actually, like I said, about 1,000 different cryptocurrencies out there. And the thing is, a lot of those other cryptocurrencies, though, are still able to be mined for. Don't get me wrong, you can mine for Bitcoin, but you have to have definitely, tons and tons of equipment to do it with. And what most people do is they use graphics cards, for that matter, to mine for different coins. But the thing is that's great is the fact that you have alternatives, which would be the other cryptocurrencies that you can get into as far as mining goes. Now, again, too, there's going to also be alternatives, or more than one way that you can mine for Bitcoin as well, too. You can either use your own equipment at home, especially if you have a good gaming type computer, then you probably already got a pretty good graphics card, and you can do that to you can use that to mine Bitcoin, well, mine coins with, anyways. Other altcoins is another thing that they call them. Alternative coins is what it stands for, but altcoins is what people call it for short. But you can mine those altcoins, and Ethereum is one that you can still mine with if you got a good graphics card. You can definitely mine for Ripple. Litecoin is another one, Dash, and so forth. There's a lot of coins on here that you can still mine for, and then what you can do is you can turn around and sell these coins for Bitcoin. Now, another thing too that I even forgot to mention was Bitcoin itself. How can somebody, in fact, that was the question she had, for that matter, my subscriber. How can somebody spend Bitcoin or buy things with Bitcoin? Well, the thing is, that's a great thing too about that is the fact that there's actually debit cards that a person can get now. Well, they've actually been around now for a few years for that matter, but you can get debit cards and you can actually put Bitcoin onto those debit cards and spend that Bitcoin just like cash. So that's another great thing about that. And there's actually a lot of companies that actually accept Bitcoin straight out anyways, that you don't even have to have a debit card with. But either way it goes, whether they accept Bitcoin directly or if you use your own debit card, you can, either way it goes, spend Bitcoin. So in other words, you have no limitations now with when it comes to Bitcoin. In fact, there's even there's a good amount of people, I will say that actually live now solely on Bitcoin. So there's actually a good amount of people now who has debit cards that you can put the Bitcoin on, and they actually mine Bitcoin in several different ways, and they day trade and so forth. But they make their money with Bitcoin, and they actually live 100% on Bitcoin. Believe it or not, but yes, there's people who actually do that now. And it's because it's going to be, the wave of the future is the thing. Because people, another reason why Bitcoin is so popular is because of the fact that people are tired of losing their money, their fiat money, and they're tired of inflation, and they're tired of their money not being worth anymore like it used to be many years ago. And so the alternative that people are turning to is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because they found, there's a lot of people who's found out now that they can do that. They can turn to that as a great alternative, and it's such a great thing, like I said, because of the fact that it keeps going up in value. Unfortunately, the dollar keeps going down in value every single year, year after year. But the thing with Bitcoin, it keeps going up in value year after year. So, $10 worth of Bitcoin right now, who knows? In a few months, it could be worth $20 or even more, depending on how much it might go up. So yeah, I mean that's one of the great things about it, and why it's such a great thing to get into. Now, as far as mining goes, like I said, there's different ways that you can mine it. Like I said before, one of the ways you can do for sure, as far as mining it, is you can use your own equipment. In fact, let me go ahead and do this as well too, because I want to show you guys step by step what I'm talking about here. Because I want this to be a very good and informative video, and so I want you guys to see firsthand every single thing I'm talking about here. So let's see. I'll go ahead and type in mining rigs, and that way we can get images, and I'll show you guys examples of what I'm talking about. This right here, this right here actually is a good example too, for that matter. Well, we'll use this one here. Hopefully you guys can see this picture. I don't know if you can or not, but anyways, if you can, you'll see here, this is what's called an open air mining rig. So this is if you're going to mine coins from home, mostly alternative coins like Ethereum, Litecoin, and stuff like that. But yeah, what you have here is you got your main motherboard that's in your computer, you got your power supply, and then you got a whole bunch of graphics cards right here, powerful graphics cards, and this is your workhorses right here. So when it comes to mining the coins, your graphics cards are the ones that's going to do most of the work. You can use your CPU, your computer chip that's on your computer as well. You can use that as well to mine coins with, but the one that's going to be the most powerful to do it with is going to be your graphics cards. So this also too is a reason why that in the past there's been companies that actually have sold out of graphics cards, because of the fact that mining is such a big thing now with people, because they're making so much money with it, and it's so profitable. Myself, I've actually got 4 different graphics cards as well. In fact, that I'm mining with at home. In fact, I've got 3 EVGA GTX 1050s, and I've also got 1 EVGA GTX 1060 as well, as far as graphics cards goes. So I've got 4 graphics cards right now here at the apartment that's mining coins for me. And there's lots of different cards you can get, and different configurations that you can get and use to mine with. And what I'm averaging right now is probably around $4 a day per probably about from about $3.50 up to about $4 a day is what I'm actually averaging. But the thing is because of the fact that the coins keep going up in value, and especially Bitcoin, you know, the cards are going to be paid for in a short period of time. In other words, and then after that, everything is going to be all profit as far as anything in the mine with those cards. And you got to think, on average, those cards are going to probably last about 2 or 3 years as far as you know, their durability or whatever before they really break down and you have to, you know, replace them. So it's definitely a profitable thing to get into, but there's also mining calculators that you can use to get into the profit as well. There's a site you can go to called Coin Wars, so it's CoinWarz.com, and they have mining calculators on there that you can use to figure out how much you can make at home mining with a certain type of graphics cards and so forth. Now, that's one of the main ways people mine coins with. But another way is called cloud mining. And what that is for people who don't have their own equipment or don't want to buy their own equipment, because there's good and bad things about these scenarios. Like as far as if you're mining from home, you do have to use your own electricity, of course, when you're mining from home. So that's something you have to take in consideration as far as your profits goes. You have to consider, you know, that when it comes to making your profits with mining. And in my area, I think it is around 10 cents per kilowatt, so I have to take that in consideration when it comes to doing my mining. But another way that you can mine with, an alternative way, would be called cloud mining. And right here, one of the main, most popular sites is called Genesis Mining. And so I've got some cloud mining going as well too. In other words, I don't have all my eggs in one basket. I've got this to where I can have some cloud mining going on as well too. And this actually is a thing that they're telling people about the fact that they're actually swamped right now too, as far as doing their payouts, because of the fact of there's so many people that's jumping onto mining, and whether it's mining at home or doing cloud mining, that these guys are actually getting swamped as well too, as far as even being able to do their payouts right now, because it really is, you know, such a big thing. In fact, this site too is also sold out of their cloud mining contracts, because on here the way it works is you can set up contracts and you buy them. So you click on buy hash power, but the thing is they're actually sold out of the Bitcoin ones. They got other ones on here as far as the Ethereum contracts you can do. So it's Ethereum coin, monero, or that's Zcash. You've got Ethereum coin right here you can do, and you got monero coin that you can do as well too. But these, in my opinion, are not very profitable, not even probably worth messing with. Bitcoin itself, on this site anyways, is the best one to buy as far as the money contracts goes. And but the thing is, they're actually sold out. They're actually sold out of the Bitcoin money contracts, and they've actually been sold out for a while now because of the fact that people buy them so quick and they grab them so quick that they sell out so quick. It's extremely fast on how fast these guys sell out of their money contracts, and it's because of the fact that so many people are buying them at such a fast pace, because so many people know and realize that they really can make some real good money with this. Now, when you do buy your contracts, though, you can, you know, use your slider or whatever they got on here, and they'll show you how much it would cost as far as buying your contracts. So, you know, you can see offhand as far as how much you're going to have to pay. But what you can do as far as a site like this too is you can go into mining allocation, and on this site they happen to have it set up to where you can mine multiple different coins. You can mine for Bitcoin, you can mine for Zcash, Litecoin, Dash, Ethereum, and Monero. And well, they've got other ones down here too that you can choose from as well too. In fact, mine, I've actually even got it set up to where I can mine for Dogecoin. Dogecoin is a coin that actually has way more coins available than Bitcoin does, that's for sure. And it's not worth near as much as what Bitcoin would be. In fact, it's worth extremely very little, but because of that is what it is, it's also easy to mine too. So the less the coin is worth, the easier it is to mine, whether you're cloud mining or mining at home or whatever the case may be. But the thing is that I actually get payouts too every single day on this coin because of the fact it's so easy to mine. So what I'm doing is, instead of mining for Bitcoin, I got this pointing to be mining for Dogecoin instead, and therefore that means it's going to be a lot easier to mine, and I'll get a lot more of those coins built up in my account. And again, any of these coins, no matter what these coins are, whoops, I'm messing up my money thing here. No matter what these coins are, you can actually still sell these coins for Bitcoin though. So either way it goes, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't hardly matter so much what you mine for. Just whatever it is that you feel is going to be profitable for you is what you're going to mine. Which, like I said, in my case, I think right now the best thing is for me to mine the Dogecoin because I get guaranteed payouts every single day with this. Unlike the Bitcoin, I've only got 1.7 something terahash available as far as my mining speed. And so if I was going to mine for Bitcoin, it would take a lot longer to have enough to get payouts with this site. But I get enough Dogecoins every single day to where I get payouts every single day. So that's why I've got a mining for this though. But like I said, either way it goes, it doesn't really too much matter. I mean, it's still fine. I can mine Dogecoin because I can still sell these. I can either sell these for Bitcoin, or I can also sell these to people who straight out want to buy them as well too, which I have actually done that too, for that matter. And that's another thing that's nice is the fact that people are going to always want to buy Bitcoin, and they're going to always want to buy these other altcoins as well too, because of the fact that they do have the value to them. And in fact, Ethereum itself is still probably around $300 right now for one coin. Yeah, it's in fact $300.20 for one Ethereum coin. And that's another thing to think about too. I can remember when these coins, when I was first starting out, again in October of last year, I can remember when these coins was way less. In fact, I can remember when Ethereum was $12, and right now Ethereum is $300. So this again is another example, excuse me, of why this is such a great thing to get into. In fact, let me go in here as well too. This right here is actually the very first cloud mining site that I ever first started on. But this site actually right here is actually expensive when it comes to buying your cloud mining contracts. Genesis Mining is actually one of the cheapest ones you can buy contracts on. And they're actually one of the most reliable too, because Genesis Mining actually even has full videos that shows the mining farms and so forth. And that's another thing that you guys got to watch out for too, though. If you do the cloud mining route, you got to make sure you're going to buy your contracts with a cloud mining site that's going to be reputable, because there are also cloud mining sites out there that are scam sites, and they want to try to get your money, and they might even give you some payouts at first, but eventually some of them do go down. So do keep that in mind. But Genesis Mining is one of those that is reputable and definitely will be around for a long time. And like I said, they've even got videos showing that they are a legit company though. But this one right here, like I said, is one I've also started out with a while ago. In fact, like I said, it was the very first one I started out with. But this is where I was looking at the prices. Like Litecoin, I can remember again too, when this was like $4 for one coin, and on here it's showing $55 for one Litecoin. So yeah, I mean it's incredible to see how much these prices went up. Right here, Ripple. This is another example. I remember when Ripple coin was a half a cent. I remember when it was not even one full penny as far as the value on it, and right now it's worth 20 cents. And not too long ago, just a few months ago actually, Ripple coin actually got up to 28 cents. So, just imagine if a person would have already known about this offhand and would have had thousands and thousands of Ripple coins, for example, at a half a penny. I mean, a person could have made a fortune with this. Imagine if you had, let's just say 50,000 coins. 50,000 coins times 0.005. Yeah, because that would be half a penny. So that would cost you $250 to buy 50,000 Ripple coins. Okay, so 50,000 Ripple coins would cost you $250 to buy that with. So let's say, look at it now, 50,000 of Ripple coins times 0.20, because that's what it's at right now. That's $10,000. So that means you spent $250 in order to make $10,000, and that's insane. And this has been within 1 year's time. It's insane how much these coins has went up in prices. And like I said, if I would have known about this when I first started out, then yeah, I would be making a killing right now. I would be sitting very pretty with this right now if I would have already known about this from the from the very beginning. And unfortunately, I didn't learn about this quick enough. I wish I would have, because I heard about Bitcoin before. I heard about Bitcoin, in fact, about a year before I really looked into it, because I looked into it around 2016. Um, like I said, of October of this past year. But knowing what I know about this, I want to kick myself in the ass big time because I missed out on a lot of this already. Now, a person might be asking, well, is it still too late to get into this? No, it's not. Not by a long shot. It's never too late to get into this because of the fact that, again, Bitcoin is going to keep on going up in price, and these other coins are going to keep on going up in price too. In fact, some people are also predicting that Litecoin next year sometime could easily go up to $200. So, like I said, again, at the end of the day, do your own research. So don't just run out and buy a whole bunch of Litecoin just because I said that. So, definitely do your own research. But like I said, I do remember for sure, though, when this was $4 a coin for one Litecoin. So it's just insane seeing what these prices are. Excuse me, guys. Actually, like I said before, I got off of work today, so, or I think I said that, but yeah, I had a long day at work today. But it's insane seeing what these prices are, though, and how much this stuff has went up in prices, though. So yeah, my suggestion would be to definitely start researching into this, guys. Do your due diligence. Don't just jump into anything and spend all your rent money on this. Definitely spread your money out if you want to get into this. But yeah, it's definitely worth doing your research. Like I said, at the point now, I know a ton now as far as what I compared to what I used to know, and I know definitely that I'm moving forward with this. I am actually all in on this 100% as far as doing my investments, doing the mining, whether it's cloud mining, mining at home, or whatever the case may be, because I have seen firsthand the potential of this, and I've seen firsthand the type of money that could be made from this. And there's lots of YouTube videos out there too where you'll see that lots of people are making fortunes with this. There's a lot of people out there who has easily hundreds of thousands of dollars that they have done in 1 year that they have made from this type of thing. Whether it's the Bitcoin or the other cryptocurrencies or whatever the case may be, a lot of these guys are making killing on this. And this is going to be me eventually as well too, because I'm not going to stop. I'm going to be relentless on this because I'm seeing it work firsthand. And like I said, I've had a year now of watching these numbers, and had a year now of seeing these numbers go up and seeing what can happen with this though. So yeah, I wanted to make this video. It's long. I know this video's got to definitely be long by now, but it was a request from one of my subscribers. And this will give you a real good idea now of what Bitcoin is, as far as also how to get into it, and also how to start researching into the potential of this, guys. What I'm going to do too, though, is I'm going to go ahead and leave the links in the description of this video as far as how to set up a Bitcoin. Well, the link for setting up a Bitcoin wallet, I'll leave that. It's the exact same website that I use is what I'm leave in the description for you guys. As you guys can see, it's like over 65 different coins, I think, as far as what you can accept and put into your account. But also feel free to download any wallets to your own desktop if you want to as well. Oh, one thing I actually forgot to mention too, which actually is very important. If you guys do want to do some cloud mining, which means you don't have to have your own equipment, you're renting, of course, their equipment is what you're doing by doing the cloud mining. Then that's actually a great thing to think about, is if you're living mobile. So if you're living in an RV or a camper van or anything of that nature, cloud mining actually is a real good way to get into mining your coins as well too, because of the fact that you don't have to worry about having all the computer equipment with you and using that every single day. You're actually renting these guys' equipment out, is what you're doing. So Where did, oh, there it is. So I'll leave the link in the description too, as far as the cloud mining sites, as far as Genesis mining, and EOBot actually don't have theirs going right now as far as being able to buy cloud mining. The reason why they said was because when China ended up cracking down on Bitcoin, they said that they won't be able to have any more contracts to buy. I don't know if they're going to change that later down the line. I don't know, guys. So I don't know what to tell you on that. Hopefully they do change that later on. It'd be nice. But either way it goes, Genesis mining is another one you guys can look into. But again, too, my suggestion would be to wait until they get their mining contracts back up and available. You can go ahead and still join up with the site. And that way, when they do get them up again, they'll go ahead and send you email. Supposedly, from their Twitter account, they were saying that within the next few weeks, they might actually have some more Bitcoin contracts going, Bitcoin mining contracts going. So hopefully within the next week or two, that will happen. Because when they do, I'm definitely going to jump on it myself. That's for sure. In fact, I'm looking to spend at least half a paycheck on that because of the fact of, you know, the lifetime contracts too, which is another great thing about that. There's some sites that they might be for like 3 years or for 5 years or whatever. But on Genesis mining anyways, how they have been in the past, they have been lifetime contracts as far as the Bitcoin mining goes. So I'm going to probably spend like half my paycheck on that because that's a lifetime investment that's going to pay off big time in the long run. And again, there's, like I said, mining calculators you guys can use to figure out how much profit you can make. You can go to coinwars.com. That's one of the popular ones you can use. And just do your own research. But yeah, it's something I'm getting into myself, though. Like I said, I've got 1.7 terahash on there right now, and I plan on getting a whole lot more. Each time that you buy your contracts, they, like I said, have a slider thing that you can use. You can slide it, and you can, you know, see for sure how much mining speed you're buying and how much you're going to have to pay for that. But I've got 1.7 terahash right now, and I plan on increasing that as much as I can, though, when they come out with more contracts. But like I said, I'll leave the link in the description of this one as well. And that way, well, another one I'll work on as well too, as far as cloud mining goes. And if you guys do want to join up underneath me, then I do get also a small a commission off of that as well too, if you guys do that. So that would be appreciated. But I mean, that's pretty much it right now, I guess. If you guys have any more questions or concerns, let me know, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys can even tell. You probably can, but it's something I'm excited about because I've actually, you know, been at the point now where I'm actually making money with this though. Because, you know, you can mine for it, you can sell those coins, and they're always going to be valuable, and they're going to always be in demand because of the fact that they're going to always go up in price. Like I said, Bitcoin will have its dips, and there are other coins as well too. They will have their dips, so keep that in mind. And that is to be expected. Just like the stock market, it will go up and it will go down. That's every single day. So don't be afraid if you do see that. In fact, like I said, it's not uncommon for sometimes Bitcoin to even go down in 1 week, even like $1,000. So that's not uncommon whatsoever. But like I said too, when I started, it was $600 in October, and right now it's worth over $7,000. So I don't care. You know, I can have one full Bitcoin right now. If I had the money to do it, and if I was able to do it, yeah, I would go ahead and still buy one full Bitcoin. And if it went down $1,000, I wouldn't care one bit because of the fact that I know it's going to go up again too because I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it go down $1,000, and I've seen it go back up, you know, just as much and then some too, even more. So, you know, that's the thing is some people get scared, and if you're that type of person that you're, you know, too scared to get into it, then you can sit on the sidelines if you want. But don't be surprised if Bitcoin is worth well over $10,000 next year or two, though, because some people have predicted that as well too. That could easily be well over $10,000 before next year comes around. So don't be surprised if that happens. And if you're on the sidelines, you're going to definitely miss out. That's all I want to say. So it's up to you guys. Like I said, do your own homework and your own research. Make your own decisions on what you want to do. But for me, I am 100% all in on this, and I have made some money, and I'm going to keep on making money with it too, though. So that's it, guys. I am done, I guess, with this course, if you guys, like I said, have any questions, let me know. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. And otherwise, hit the thumbs up button, and you guys have a great day.